You're listening to a Comics XF podcast.
X-Men. Get it!
Hey everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Battle of the Atom. This is your super sticky X-Men podcast where we rank every story from A to V.
We're Adam.
And we're Zack. I'm glad you were already going to do the We Are Adam thing, because I was going to do We Are Zack.
Well, we are wearing our symbiote suits this week, and
everybody's got symbiotes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump in here real quick. We're gonna get a hot take right from the start. I don't actually think this is a hot take. I don't think this has been a hot take since the early 90s.
Ready.
There's too many symbiotes. They made too many of them.
You mean there shouldn't be an entire planet of them called Clintar?
No, because Venom's an alien. That makes sense. Well, it's alien technology, but then it turned out he was alive. That's all, like, it tracks that, oh yes, there would be a Venom planet. That I'm fine with. Here's what I'm not fine with. Two things.
Please.
One, all of those Venoms coming to Earth all the time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then two, all of the Venoms doing a Spider-Verse, so we have Venom versions of all the people who are on Earth from different realities. It's too many hats.
I agree. Well,
you got too many hats.
We're going to talk about hats on hats on hats in this first story, but we are talking about Venom this week. And how do you feel about just Eddie Brock Venom? Like, just original flavor. You a fan?
I was a child in the early 90s, so I don't hate Venom. I also would say I'm not convinced I've read a good Venom comic.
I still just am fascinated by the idea of, just because I remember reading Spider-Man when Venom came out and just be
because you're old. That's right.
Yeah, but I remember those McFarlane and Larson stories and just being fascinated by this idea that he would somehow become an anti-hero.
A lethal protector?
Yeah, when he had done all these terrible things. But,
like eat brains.
Yeah, it is what it is. But I don't dislike the character, and I gotta say, I am ready to go to The Last Dance, Venom 3, later this year.
I am not. I will watch those movies the way I've watched all of them and the way they should be watched, on an airplane.
On my cell phone.
Yes. Venom Let There Be Carnage is a perfect airplane movie. Is it good? No,
it's not.
Is it something you should have on an airplane? Yes.
Sure.
It's exactly the kind of thing you have on an airplane. It's just like, there's too much Venom stuff.
Yeah, Summer
there's
of the
too much Venom
and Null and
wait,
King in
isn't there
Black
another Venom event? I don't even remember what Summer of the Symbiotes was. That was last summer.
Was it? I thought it
was Summer of the Symbiotes. Was last summer the Summer of the Symbiotes?
I don't remember. I remember.
I know the Summer of the Symbiotes was not at the same time as the Year of Luigi.
I honestly don't remember if it's already happened or if it's happening.
No, that was 2000. That was 2003. Was Summer of the Symbiotes.
2023.
23, excuse me.
Okay.
Which did have that fantastic cover.
Well,
that
the
triptych cover. Yeah, the Jim Lee X-Men one. That was great.
That was kind of funny. Yeah, sure, why not?
Summer of the Symbiotes was fun for me specifically because it very clearly was a thing that started and was planned around Rom V continuing to be on Venom, and Rom V said, I do not want to write Venom anymore.
Amazing. Good choice.
Anyway, Marvel, if you ever want to talk to me, one of the few things I do have a solid pitch for is Venom. So hit me up.
Interesting. All right. Well, we are talking about Venom in relation to the X-Men this week. This is still an X-Men podcast, but this is due to a Patreon request. Who requested this, Zach?
No one.
Oh, this isn't a Patreon request.
No, this is here's what happened. Because this happens to some of y'all. And I'm not naming names, though I do have a list of, 44 of y'all who gave who gave us $5 at one point in the past and just never answered the DM that I sent you saying, hey, you got to pick. And then I gave you guys multiple DMs and you continue not to.
Wow.
So thanks for the money.
Sure.
And if you want to be like these people, you can just give us money for free. It's fine.
But we will also do an episode for you.
We will if you give us money.
Yes. So this is one of our in the bag.
And you
ideas.
get to pick the story. And yeah, this was literally on the top of our list of our bad ideas.
This is a great bad idea for the most part, though I can't say I enjoyed rereading Poison X. Zack, Poison X, the X-Men Blue
Venom crossover
with Venom under the writing helm of Colin Bunn.
Adam, how familiar with the ongoing Venom series were you at this particular time?
So, I did just misspeak. I did say reread, and the reality is that I didn't really read this at the time because when
You didn't read this when it came out?
No, I mean, I was already skimming X-Men Blue at this point. By the time that I heard that there was going to be a Venom X-Men crossover, that didn't sound appealing to me. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot this week about Venom.
Do you know what I think is less appealing than a Venom X-Men crossover?
What's that?
A couple of things. One, that this is not just a Venom X-Men crossover. This is Cullen Bunn's lead-in to a second Venom X-Men crossover.
Venomverse?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Venomized. Venomverse was the crossover before this.
Right.
That we as X-Men people did not have to deal with.
Right.
It comes after Mike Costa's run on Venom, which was like the relaunch of Venom after his spacefaring days. And you know who Venom was at the start of the Mike Costa run.
He wasn't Eddie Brock. He was like some like interstellar policeman, right? What was the guy's name?
Are you talking about Spider-Man's best friend, Flash Thompson?
Is that? Oh, right. It was Flash. Okay.
No,
right.
That's not who Venom was.
Wait,
You're wrong.
Who was it?
Lee Price.
I don't know who that is. Who's Lee Price? Is that a person that I should know about? Is that a character?
No, you shouldn't know about it.
Okay.
He's no one. But I'll say before this event, and well, really before Venom, or before Eddie Brock became Venom again, right before this, do you know the last time Eddie Brock was Venom?
Oh, wow. That's a good question.
I'm just curious.
I'm curious
if you know.
Take a guess. Maybe 5 years?
It's much, much earlier than that.
Really? How long are we talking?
Like the early 2000s Venom.
Get out.
Yeah, Eddie Brock died or something. I forget. I forget exactly what happened. He got rid of the symbiote. Maybe he found Jesus. I guess I say found Jesus. He specifically was like going to a church. No, that's right. He had cancer. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
He had cancer and he was going to die. And he said that he was not going to be controlled by the symbiote anymore and blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
So Flash Thompson was Venom that entire time until that other guy?
No. What are you talking about?
Who was Venom in between?
There were two.
There are that many people?
There was Angelo.
Idea.
There was Angelo Fortunato.
Okay.
Who was a gangster who was Venom for like 3 issues in Marvel Knights Spider-Man.
All right, well, that doesn't count. Who's the other one?
It absolutely does count. That was the story.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was wrong. Do you know what Eddie Brock did with the symbiote when he didn't want it? He didn't just like make it go away. Do you know what he did?
He rang a bell in a church steeple to get it off of him. Like
I don't know if that's what he did. Probably should have. No, he put it for auction and a mobster bought it.
Wow. I love villain auctions. That's a fun idea.
Would you believe that this was a Mark Millar story?
That tracks. That's fine.
Anyway, he dies 3 issues later, and then eventually, you know who becomes Venom? And this
No.
is Venom for a long time before Flash Thompson.
Who is it?
Oh, it's Matt Gargan, the Scorpion.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
did you not know that? Yeah, he was Venom like through. You remember Dark Avengers and like the Dark Reign stuff?
That he's Venom then.
He's that Venom.
Okay. Cool.
And then Flash Thompson becomes that guy after the Dark Avengers are arrested. Yeah.
Listen, this is great. It's good to know the history of Venom.
We all need to know Venom history. Everyone, you know Venom. He's Spider-Man's old pants.
the magic pants he got in the toy crossover.
He's Spider-Man's crinkly pants that he said, these are gross and disgusting. I don't like these pants anymore. And he said, Jesus, take the wheel. You can have my pants. And his pants fell on Eddie Brock. And then Eddie Brock became evil.
Right. But he's an anti-hero. So we start Poison X.
A lethal protector.
Yes, with the X-Men Blue are concerned about the Starjammers because the Starjammers appear to have been kidnapped by a group of interstellar bounty hunters who are wearing symbiotes. And
no, Adam, they are not. Wait, no, they're not. They're wearing something else.
Well, not yet. Not yet. At the beginning of this story, they are just symbiotes, right?
Are they? Are you? No, I just think Killer Thrill's a weirdo.
Killer Thrill is wearing a symbiote, as are
because it's a weapon thing.
Yeah, as are her bounty hunters, right? But I did learn that Killer Thrill was a character in Guardians of the Galaxy before this. I didn't know that. I'd never heard.
I wouldn't say character in Guardians of the Galaxy. I would say that she was a character created in a Drax miniseries.
Yeah, I mean that's
for a handful of issues. By Cullen Bunn and someone else. Do you know who Phil Brooks is, Adam?
No. Is that Mark Brooks' his brother?
No, you might know him better as wrestler CM Punk.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Who I understand there's some controversy around, and I don't know enough about what's going on with CM Punk to have any opinion, except for it seems like he fought some people for real backstage, and it was pretty ugly.
Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't sound like what you're supposed to do.
He also thinks trans people should have rights, so he's a man of contrasts.
Yeah. I mean, that's good. I like that part. So obviously the X-Men Blue kids are concerned. They really want to, this is like, your post-Black Vortex Cullen Bunn team. They're being led by Magneto. They have Danger as their X-Jet.
Danger, not a factor in this story, except for to say, I must go. My planet needs me at a certain point.
Yes. She gets very tired because she does have to transport them off-world.
I did ask for a while. I was like, how did they get a spaceship?
It's just Danger, apparently.
It's just Danger.
So X-Men Blue have to go get Eddie because they're like, we need symbiote help. Can you help us? Eddie wants nothing to do with it. And
how do they know him?
How do they know him, or how do they know of him? I think they just know of him, and they're like, "That's the guy. That's the guy. We got to go talk to that guy."
I mean,
because doesn't Jean Grey is like, wait, isn't there one of those here?
They know of Venom. Agent Venom was in Black Vortex.
Okay.
But not in the Trial of Jean Grey. Agent Venom was post Trial of Jean Grey, then to Black Vortex.
Right.
I'm sorry. I just had to also get my Brian Michael Bendis Guardians of the Galaxy continuity right, because I don't believe he had a long tenure overlapping with Thor's sister / Neil Gaiman's / Todd McFarlane's Angela.
No.
From Spawn?
Yep.
Who was also on the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Amazing. Yeah. She was in the Trial of Jean Grey. Still wild. So essentially this is like, they pick up Venom. They go off and do like a Star Wars cantina scene off world. And then
it's very rote and boring.
Yeah,
the Star Wars Cantina scene.
It's very much the same thing. And then they've got to go stop these bounty hunters because it does look like they're going to do bad things to Corsair and company. But this gets more complicated because the X-Men Blue team do also get, because of a bounty hunter who kind of looks like a break worlder, some cowboy alien dude.
What's his Haze Mancer?
Yeah.
Cullen Bunn, name these people better.
That's a terrible name for anything.
It's a bad name. Yeah, he's like a cowboy of Break World, but he's neither of those things.
But he is collecting symbiotes for sale. And unfortunately, because they go after him, they break a lot of these symbiotes out of their little pet cages, and X-Men Blue become Venoms, which could be cool, I guess. They don't look cool. They look freaking stupid.
I'm going to talk about one of the biggest issues. By the way, this is X-Men Blue Annual number 1, Blue 21 and 22, and Venom 162 and 163. And I don't even think this is the biggest issue, because I think the biggest issue in this is in the core conceit and concept and everything that goes into this story. But one of the big issues with it is that artists Edgar Salazar, Jacobo Camagini, Ario Anadito, and that's everyone, right? Yeah, that's everyone in it. None of them have the juice for this story.
Oh, no.
None of them have the juice.
I'm just visually, like, even just with Venom, I'm very confused by the look of Venom in this period. He has kind of like a tiny H.R. Geiger mouth, as opposed to like the wide, like, you know.
They were doing Ryan Stegman does that too. It's weird.
Yeah, like it's strange. It seems like it's on model for the time.
Is that his hero mouth instead of his like villain mouth?
I don't know. I want him to have like the piranha grin. You know what I mean? Like, give
this
me the
is
teeth.
Venom. Venom is a beefy boy. He's gooey and drippy. He's got big, slobbery teeth that are sharp and a nasty tongue who, for some reason, has green spit.
Sure. Love it.
That's Venom.
Great.
Here's the thing about Venom. He's 100% just a design. That's all he is. That's all he'll ever be. You want nuance? You want Spider-Man to have a dark mirror? It's not Venom. He's just the guy that wears the black suit.
Yeah, it's fine. I am also confused by Venom's voice in this story. Like, I realized Cullen Bunn was writing both series, but like, what I picture Venom sounding like in my head doesn't sound like the way he's being written here.
Venom
sounds like a little bit just, I don't know, inconvenienced.
There is a story going on in Al Ewing's Immortal Thor that I have mixed feelings about.
Yes.
That involved Chad Hammer.
On corporate, right?
Right. Anyway, he hits Thor with his hammer, and his hammer makes Thor think like he's in a Reddit thread making fun of MCU movies. And how they talk, like, well, that just happened. Anyway, Venom talks like that, though.
A little bit.
Just unironically.
Yeah.
It's a bad Joss Whedon impression.
I don't get it, but
for Venom, that's not his voice.
Yeah, it seems odd. So now we get into like added complicated stuff, because like this story already had extra symbiotes. It already had Clintar stuff. And now on top of that, talk about hat on top of a hat. We are now going to introduce the concept of the poisons, which are
introducing them to
X-fans.
Anyone who
I didn't know what it was before this. I was like, who the heck are these people?
Do you know who has written content involving the poisons?
I guess just Cullen. I mean, has anybody else?
Let's see. Cullen Bunn. It's all Cullen Bunn.
Okay.
It's literally tip to toe. That's a Cullen Bunn. Also, the Spider-Man Unlimited video game.
Wow.
Which I think was a game where that was just a game. That was a running game. That was like Subway Surfer, but for Spider-Man, I think.
Yeah, so the poison are these little like skeletal things with bone blade arms that then once they get on you, they basically turn you into like an armored version of yourself and then eat you from the inside out, right?
They make you they're supposed to, it's not even like they're an ultimate Venom, because that's what it's supposed to be like. They're the super Venom. They're the most venomed Venom, but they're not. They're just like super armor for Venom. Like they were supposed to be bigger than that. Like the perfect, I don't know what I'm saying here. I'm sorry. This is all very confusing.
It's
very dumb.
It's very dumb, and it's very complicated because like they just look like armor. Like it doesn't look interesting. The visual design again is bad.
It is, though. I'll say that the poisonized version of character visual designs is better than the Venomized versions.
Yeah. Killer Thrill looks better as like a robot than
Killer Thrill does look better as that, even though we're just saying Killer Thrill like that's a character we all know. CM Punk's Killer Thrill.
Yeah.
So she's like this little weirdo.
Yeah.
With like a white painted clown girl face. But like a gothic clown girl. And she's got like, if Ronald McDonald went Super Saiyan.
Yeah, she's got manga hair.
That's her vibe. It's
a look. It's a look.
What are they doing with Killer Thrill?
I don't know, but by the end of this story, it still has to lead into the Venomized.
The next Venom crossover.
Yeah, which is, so this is already 6 issues.
With X-Men, the next Venom crossover that takes the cast of X-Men Blue out of X-Men Blue for like 4 months.
Yeah. If you read X-Men Blue after this, which I did read, it's got the backup team because the rest of the team is lost in space for this. And by the end of this of this crossover, Jean Grey is still inside this like poison armor, and it's assumed that she's dead. She doesn't actually come out of the armor until the very last issue of Venomized. So the only thing they really do in these 6 issues is rescue the Starjammers, and that's it. Like, and become Venoms, and that's it. That's all that happens.
What's weird is that I'm not going to go out and say that X-Men Blue was like my favorite series or one that I think is particularly great. But I do think on either side of this, there's like some good stories around it. Like Crosstime Capers is fun for people as X-Men pilled as us. People who were excited when all of the rest of X-Men 2099 got added to Marvel Unlimited this week. Those are the people. Me and Cullen Bud. That's it.
It's that omnibus, baby. Get that X-Men 2099 omnibus. Just came out.
It's the Crosstime Capers people. And then after this, like the Cry Havoc arc, the one that the regular X-Men just aren't in.
That's fun.
I remember that arc being probably the best of X-Men Blue.
Yeah, there was some good stuff in there. But
this is so freaking bad.
No, I can't recommend this at all. There's not a lot to enjoy. I'm very confused about the choices that were made here. It feels very much just almost like a editorial mandate to like combine these things, which I don't know if it is or if it's just Cullen.
You do know that it isn't. You know it isn't because Adam
said that on our
podcast.
Yeah.
On our podcast.
Yeah.
He said, no, I liked this idea. I wanted to do it. And I'm like, well,
I realized that that's what happened. It still feels cheap. You know what I mean?
It super does. Especially, and I'll tell you this, as someone who was not really reading, but flipping through Venom on Marvel Unlimited. And actually, I don't even think I was flipping through Venom. I think I was reading Amazing Spider-Man and a few other series, like X-Men Blue. But I can tell you, if I was a reader of the series Venom, I would be pretty mad at this time because it goes from like 3 different crossovers in a row, from Venomverse to Venom Inc. to Poison X to Venomized. Like, I get why when the next volume of Venom launched and was pretty good comparatively, people flipped their lid.
Yeah. So I think we've said about all we can say about Poison X. We should probably try and put it on our big old list, Zach.
I could say more about Poison X. I could say how Poison X is probably the part where I gave up on X-Men for a brief moment in time, and said, maybe this is bad. But I'm not going to say any more about it because we do have a big old list. And Adam, do you know what I think is exciting? This is just me. But do you know what I think is exciting about our big old list?
I mean, we're on the road, right?
Yeah, we're on that 1K road.
Wow.
We are on that millennium journey.
It's amazing. I feel like a falcon.
Spread those wings and fly, buddy. Spread them. We have 903 stories on our list, ranked from best to worst. The number one story being the House of X, the Powers of 10. The 300th story on this list is Ultimate X-Men 26 to 33 Return of the King. That's nice. A jumping quality right there. We just skipped. Y'all, we skipped pretty much all the good X-Men stories right there. Number 600, New Mutants, the beginning of the end. That's 98 to 100.
Okay.
Again, big jumps.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ready for another jump? Number 900, X-Men Phoenix Legacy of Fire. You thought it was gone. You have to remember that story again, folks.
Jeez.
That's the Max labeled manga series. That is truly atrocious.
Put you on a watch list. Watch out.
I think people have forgotten about X-Men Phoenix Legacy of Fire.
It popped up on social media recently. Someone posted the cover.
I'm not on that anymore.
And someone was like, "What is this?" And everybody in the comments was like, "No, walk away, walk away."
It's you think it'll be there for the camp value and like, okay, this is weird and I have to see it. It's not.
No.
And then the worst X-Men story of all time, 2099, World of Tomorrow, Adam.
All right.
We have a splattering of X-Men Blue on here, actually.
We do. And down at 755, we have X-Men Blue 7 to 9 Secret Empire, which I think is better than this.
I do too. I also think at 850, Mojo Worldwide is better than this. And I can tell you I think that because when Mojo Worldwide hit, I had not lost all hope that X-Men would ever be good again.
All right, so we know we're really getting down here.
It's weird because Cullen Budd was the best part of X-Men Worldwide.
Yeah.
Or of Mojo Worldwide. People don't remember at that time, like the reason we were all like, oh, Tom Taylor's great, is because it was rough for us out there. Folks, you don't know what we were through. Is this worse than X-Men Gold 1 through 3? It kind of is, isn't it?
Yep.
I mean, that one's not good, but this is pretty bad.
Yeah, we're getting into like the real rough stuff down here. But like, I think
we're tied up in the rough stuff.
I think Prisoner of Love is better than this at 872.
He probably is.
So,
Adam, is Witchblade Wolverine better than this?
I don't know if it's that bad. I don't think it's as bad. Not. All right, at 890 is NYX.
It's definitely not at NYX
still
levels.
Absolutely baffled that the new era of X-Men is going to have an NYX book starring Miss Marvel. I mean, just baffled by that branding. This is not as bad as NYX.
It's probably not as bad as The Legend of the Dark Claw.
No, that's true. Is it better or worse than Hyperstorm from Fantastic Four?
I would say better than Hyperstorm. Worse than Bizarre Love Triangles. That's the one where Mystique tries to seduce her future son.
Yeah. All right. So this is going to be our new.
And may not succeed.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know.
Just going to have to remember it.
879 on our list is Poison X. Zach, please tell me the next story is better than this.
I think it is.
I think so too. What is this one?
I think the next story is Web of Venom, Venom. That is Venom.
Venom.
I need to pronounce like Vietnam.
Something like a phenomenon. Sorry.
This is
it's late.
It is late. Folks, we're doing an after hours special here. This is essentially an annual. They were doing these like quarterly stories in like Venom and Ghost Rider and a few other books at the time. Mm-hmm. This is right at the start, in the middle of the first arc of Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman's Venom.
Right.
And builds off of one of the characters, Tyrannosaurus Rex Strickland.
What a great name.
I mean, listen, here's my thing about Donny Cates. Him and I do not always agree on what a good comic should be. Donny Cates can make a good comic and can make a comic that I sit down like, I came around to Crossover. I don't think the start of Crossover is very good. I think by the end of Crossover, I've kind of thrown my hands in the air and said, "Screw it, let's go." Let's just
sure
you beat me down. You beat me down with Crossover, and now I'm in. But no, this is so. Have you read the Kate Stegman Venom?
Zach, this is the very first Donny Cates comic I have ever read in my life.
Oh, really? Honestly, Adam, you should read some Donny Cates comics. They aren't here. Hold on. One, Donny Cates, as we all know, the man who saved Kitty Pryde from being married to Colossus.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So regardless
Credit
of
where it's due.
Some of the terrible comics he's written, he always has a place in my heart for that. I'm scrolling down. I'm trying to think. You would probably like his Doctor Strange. Honestly, that was his first Marvel stuff. You probably won't like his Thanos. Venom, you'll like. Don't read Death of the Inhumans. It's, as someone who wants to see the Inhumans die, it's not what you want. Oh, Silver Surfer Black. You should read Silver Surfer Black.
That's
Trad Moore art.
That's beautiful.
That one rips. And yeah, if you liked Venom, you should probably, like, just in general, you should read his Venom. Anyway, he finds out that he wasn't the first Venom to land on Earth. There is a guy named Rex Strickland who finds him when he's dealing with a Venom dragon. And anyway, this is a flashback to what Rex was up to during Vietnam. Yeah.
So it turns out that S.H.I.E.L.D. got a hold of said Venom dragon and decided that, hey, you know, it would be smart. Let's drill into this thing. Let's take out some symbiote, and then let's get our own Venom kill squad to go out into the bush.
By the way, the Venom dragon that's frozen in the ice is named Grendel. Like,
yes.
From Beowulf. That's the thing. He's like, this is an ancient beast. And do you know why S.H.I.E.L.D. is trying to develop these weapons?
I believe it's to turn the tide in Nam. Yes.
Yes, but also in general as part of the Weapon Plus program. This is Weapon V, baby.
Yes. They also known as the Sim Soldier program.
Yes, the Sim Soldier program. And anyway, Nick Fury is like, oh man, something went on with my Venom soldiers. I gotta go deal with them, and I don't want to go alone. I need someone I can trust. Who does he trust?
Wolverine.
It's Wolverine.
That's right. We told you this was an X-Men podcast.
It is. All of these are X-Men stories. And they go do a jungle fight. They fight some symbiotes. Yep. And it's essentially, it's a horror comic.
Yeah. There's lots of like people getting ripped up to shreds, and it works. You know, it really does work. Rex,
it builds up tension. You like the characters. You want to see them get out of it, and you don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah. And Rex does manage to get out of his symbiote suit, and for long enough that Wolverine is able to kind of blow up the symbiotes and what turns out to be a life model decoy of Nick Fury, who was too chicken to even go on this mission. He
does also kill Rex Strickland.
Yes.
So you find out the Rex Strickland you have been dealing with has actually been the symbiote thinking of his memories, which is an interesting thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
How do you feel about Juan Ramirez's art in this? Because I think he does a pretty solid job, honestly.
I absolutely love it. I think it does a really good job of capturing kind of the mood and the action and the facial expressions and the gore. It's really great. I think he does a very nice job.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this is a rip roaring good time. It's Cates doing his foot on the gas kind of storytelling with a bit of heart that works. Like, here's the thing. If you told me that Donny Cates and Daniel Warren Johnson were cut from the same cloth, like from their aesthetics and storytelling, and like they worked together in the past as friends, I would 100% believe you, because they got the same vibe to them.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
that same like balls out action with some heart that really does work. And especially in a short contained dose like this, I think like it works really well. Also, it's called Venom, and it's about the Nam, like the Marvel comic The Nam, also the war.
And if you needed to know what Donny Cates' aesthetic was all about, I think it's summed up by the fact that in an interview that was in some sort of bonus material, he did say that Rex Strickland is based on Danny Glover's character from Predator 2. So
Yeah,
like that kind of sums up the 80s
it's
action vibe that he's definitely going for, and I think he's succeeding. So I enjoyed
it's
this.
less based on Danny Glover's character from Predator 2 than it is just Danny Glover's character from Predator 2.
Yeah. But
It's okay. We can do shorthand. It's a small story.
But this is a lot of
I like
fun, and I didn't feel as if this works for me as a standalone. Like I didn't need to then read whatever the next big Venom crossover was. I could just read this and enjoy this as a fun standalone story.
It's the Carnage one. The one that came after that. It's the Carnage one. I forget which one it is.
Yeah. So I think this is much better than the first story that we talked about for sure.
Yeah, I do too. I had a good time with this story. I had a lot of fun with this story. I actually think, honestly, Adam, I think you would enjoy the Donny Cates Venom series. I might reread it. No, I've got books.
If it's like this, I'm down with it. I mean, I was a sucker when he delivered the punchline. Nick Fury asks Logan to accompany him, and he says, I was really banking on your patriotism, and Logan says, yeah, but I'm Canadian, bub. Like that's funny. That's got that like 80s action vibe to it, so it's great.
That's a lot of what it is. So here's the thing: what I know about you, Adam, you like that stuff, and you're a kid at heart, so you love chains.
Yeah, kids love chains, as Donny Cates.
Kids love chains. No, as Todd McFarlane said, as Donny Cates quoted him.
Oh, it's okay
it's good
to quote the Todd.
So to ask the same question that Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman asked, is this better than Watchmen?
I hate Watchmen, so sure. Not a fan.
You do know that they like that was a bit that they were doing to the point that they got David Gibbons to do a variant cover.
It's amazing.
Venom run.
See, that's great. That's great stuff. Like for a while there was just that whole thing with like the convention appearances and everything. Like it was a time. It sure was.
Where do you want to rank this?
What is it better than? I don't know. I'm kind of torn here. Like at 400, we have the stuff in Uncanny X-Men that comes after Bishop's Crossing.
Okay, and I know you love that, but that's not really a good story.
No, I'm thinking we're in the 300s, because at 302 is what I would think is better is Marvel Knights X-Men.
Marvel Knights X-Men is probably better.
Yeah,
I would say that. 312 is Phoenix Resurrection, The Return of Jean Grey. X-Men Gold 30 is at 319. That's the wedding that Donny Cates saved.
I think that's better.
Is this better or worse than Dead Man Logan at 320?
I think it's worse, because I just highlighted Hearts of Darkness at 328, and I'm sure Donny Cates would agree with me that Hearts of Darkness is better than this.
I bet he would. This is a good spot for it, because here's where it is. It's Hearts of Darkness at 328, and it's Capwolf at 329.
That's a great place for it. So
this is exactly right between Hearts of Darkness and Capwolf.
I'm sure
that's what this comic is.
We make him very happy by putting this as our new 329 Web of Venom Venom.
Like maybe Donny Cates thinks this is better than, let's say, Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7. But he's not going to argue with saying, yeah, we think it's just about as good as these two stories right here. Hearts of Darkness isn't even on Marvel Unlimited. It's insane. The sequel is.
That's an insult. They should really get that going, because
for catchheads like myself.
My goodness. All right, so
the Catch Crew. That's Danny Catch fans. We're the Catch Crew.
For our next story, we have to travel back to 1996, Zach. This is Venom versus Wolverine, Tooth and Claw.
You know who's writing this one, buddy.
I
You know who's writing it.
I sure do, and I'm curious if he's using that I'm writing it one page at a time strategy, because it feels like it. This is the one and only G.I. Joe scribe of Hall of Fame, Larry Hama.
Lethal Larry Hama. Love the man. Here's the thing. When I saw this was a Larry Hama joint, I was like, let's go.
Yeah.
Also has Joe St. Pierre on art, who I can see why in 1996 was hitting it. He almost works for me here. Like, it's close. He's got like a Steve Skaros vibe, but with a little bit more of like a bubbliness to him. Like,
yes, there's a cartoony quality here that's almost verging on what Keith Giffen was doing with Trencher. Like, everything is sort of like a ballooning.
Did you just
cloud.
pull out Keith Giffen's Trencher? Because I have no idea what you're talking about. And I ran a comic book website for a little bit.
Keith Giffen did basically a Lobo story for Image Comics.
Oh, this was his ripoff Lobo?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like...
He can't rip off himself, but still.
Right, it's an undead bounty hunter, and it's a lot of fun, but he did a very distinct art style there that looks very different than anything he'd done previous. And
this does have a bit of that vibe to it.
Yeah, and Joe St. Pierre is doing this kind of like... I give it props because he's taking a ton of risks in terms of what he's doing. I think his hit rate, though, is really low because it does, while it makes for certain things to be more exciting, it's also making the story much more confusing. And the story itself, even without the artwork, is really like, what is going on here?
Okay, because it starts. Here's what I wasn't expecting, and I was overjoyed to find out. Like by page 1. Open the book. You know who shows up? You know who the primary antagonist of this comic book series is,
I sure do. But I had to remind myself where I had seen him before. But in the recent pages of Wolverine, who is it, Zach?
It's Dirt Nap, baby.
Dirt Nap. Now, for people who don't remember Dirt Nap was literally a man-sized rat who eats people.
Sometimes he was a rat-sized rat. Like,
yes, that's true. But he eats people and like takes on their powers and abilities. It's very Mountjoy, except if Mountjoy was just a big rat with a smiley face on his back. It's a
smiley face on his back. It's
weird
so
character.
Important.
Yeah.
Here's who cares about Dirt Nap.
Yeah.
It's me and it's Steve Orlando and probably Cullen Bunn. It's probably Cullen Bunn also. When I'm mean to Cullen Bunn and Steve Orlando, it's out of love. It's because I understand.
Listen, it's okay. They're full of love. We're full of love. I don't think I'm that full of love to love Dirt Nap. Oh,
I love Dirt Nap. Dirt Nap. When Dirt Nap showed up in Marauders Volume 2, a truly bad comic, I flipped. I was like, Steve, you're putting all of my favorite stuff in here.
Absolutely insane. So Dirt Nap basically starts...
He's working for Brimstone Love in Marauders. Yeah. How do you not love that?
That's true. So Dirt Nap starts our 3 issues here by eating Venom and taking on his appearance, and then going to attack Wolverine, who Wolverine is in. It's very confusing. You really have to read into this to figure this out. But
how it doesn't work in the Wolverine continuity that Larry, you were writing?
No, not at all. But he is in the office of Landau, Luckman, and Lake, and is now suddenly saddled with a sidekick who doesn't have a Marvel wiki entry because he's only in these 3 issues, but his name is Emmett and he's dressed like Cable. He's a kid.
Like a child.
Dressed like Cable, and he's doing a weird cartoonish Brooklyn accent. Hey, mister.
He is one of Jack Kirby's like street boys. You know how Jack Kirby had his Street Boys and he didn't have just like one, he had like 40? That sounds worse than it is. But Jack Kirby's Street Boys, that's what this guy is. Only he's wearing a cable costume.
Yeah, it's very strange. And I don't understand what that character is all about. And the fact that it's not really explained. Like, you only really understand where this story begins because of editor's notes. You know, like, that's how confusing this is. Simultaneous to this, there's another 2 kids that look straight out of like Ann Nesenti's Daredevil who are skateboarding
I
around.
had to double check to make sure that those weren't Ann Nesenti kids, because those are also a different kind of street kid. Is an Ann Nesenti street kid.
Yeah. So this is Rocky.
They talk about pollution a lot.
Yeah. This is Rocky and Jerry, who then stumble upon a football shaped spaceship and get sucked inside of it with Scream. For fans who did see the second Venom movie, you know who Scream is. She's the female.
I have no
Carnage.
Connection to Scream. I think, hold on. I think I know she died in a Venom story at one point. I think her symbiote is somebody else now.
Phage, I believe, is
Phage her symbiote?
No. Hold on. That's not right. Phage is something else. What is Phage?
Oh no, it's okay. No, I'm sorry. That's what it is. Scream, her symbiote was given to Andy Benton. You know her, I'm sure. Do you know her?
No.
She's one of Cullen Bunn's pet characters, and people really seem to like her. She was, when he did his first Venom run back in 2013 with Declan Shalvey, he made a teen girl Venom that was codenamed Mania. Anyway, she couldn't use the Venom thing anymore and hang out with her best friend Agent Venom, so she became Scream, who then became Silence in a comic I did not and will not read. You cannot tell me what it is. I do not know.
All right, I figured out what the phage is. So the phage is actually the xenophage, and that is a species that wants to eat symbiotes. So they've sent Dirtnap, or maybe Dirtnap's not I don't know.
Guys, do you really... we can't explain this Larry Hama comic that also Chimera is in?
Yes, Chimera and the Plasma Wraiths are here to capture them and I guess deliver them back to the xenophage. It's very confusing. A lot of this,
we read this book closely.
Yeah, especially like the 3rd issue takes place in like, I don't even know where they are. It looks like they're floating on like magical lava lamp blobs and
they're inside the football, I think.
Is that what's going on? Okay.
They're in like a psychedelic Steve Ditko space. And they
again,
have just to be clear, Venom gets unvored by Dirtnap at a certain point and teams up with Wolverine. In case because we hadn't made that clear, Larry doesn't make it as clear as he should. But Venom gets unvored.
And the 2 of them just keep finding ways and reasons to get annoyed with each other and fight for like a page, but it never lasts. So the promise of the cover, is like rematch of Wolverine Venom. It doesn't really materialize. They're more like arguing siblings. And I don't really know how this wraps up. It seems...
Well, you know how it wraps up.
They point him at Carnage, I think, right?
No, because everyone's favorite guy shows up that everyone knows, and everyone remembers this man, and everyone's like, oh, look, it's him. It's a member of some sort of mutant saving group. It's Daryl Smith, who shows up and everyone points to, and it's like, yes, you.
This is his first appearance, unfortunately, because he was inside Dirtnap. Turns out he's
that's right. They don't want to kill Dirtnap because the kid that Dirtnap ate the first time is still inside Dirtnap. So Wolverine's like, well, he vored a kid. That kid didn't ask to be vored. I'm not going to murder him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Daryl Smith did appear. He was eaten in Wolverine 95 along with that kid. So he does pop out. He is part of the NSA's mutant task force.
Because that's who I trust with my mutant security. It's the National Security Agency. If I'm a mutant, the NSA is really who I want to have my back.
It sure is a look for this character too. I mean, if you look at what his other appearances look like. He just kind of looks like a New York detective. And here he's been given this like bandana and like, I don't know. He just, the choices here are all over the place. It's really strange.
Hey, another weird look.
Yeah.
Dirt Nap as a dude.
Oh,
because
right.
Dirt Nap gets unratted for a little bit.
Yes. He
just looks like this little freak.
He's Gollum. He just looks like a little guy.
He's just this little freak.
It's terrible.
I don't like. He's this gross little freak. I don't like him. Dirt Nap, go back to being a rat. It's funny when you're a rat with a smiley face. I don't need to see the real you, Dirt Nap.
No, and I don't need to see this comic. Honestly, I appreciate.
I don't know. Hold on, because there's going to be a 16-hour Cerebro episode about Dirt Nap at some point, and
okay,
I'm just kidding. I bet Connor hates Dirt Nap.
Dirt Nap.
I'm gonna text him this joke before it actually goes live to see if he's planning this.
Dirt Nap strikes me as the poor man's Sugar Man. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, actually, that 100% tracks.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. So anyway, I don't need this series in my life. It was not good. The art, I applaud the choices that St. Pierre is taking here, but I don't think a lot of them actually work. And it just confused the heck out of me. Larry Hama, bless you, bless your heart. I have no idea what you were trying to do with this story.
This
feels like you're, tried to do like one of your Charleston Chew one-shot stories, and things got out of hand quickly when you had to do 3 issues of it. And I don't know what happened here.
I like it. It's fun.
It's better.
Not good.
No, it's not good. Is it better than Poison X? I would say yes, because it's trying more stuff. I think it's got its moments of levity in it, but it's still not good.
No, it's not.
I still think we're in the 800s here with this.
This is a bad comic. Like by that metric. What's 800 right now? Oh, 800 is a perfect spot. Is this better or worse than the previous Dirt Nap appearance before this and the appearance of that small child that Dirt Nap bored and Daryl, that guy, who is treated like a... I can't emphasize enough how cool he's treated in this comic. Like, he's a big deal.
Yeah. Furnace of his mind, Anvil of his heart is definitely better than this at 801.
And that is not a good comic.
No, it is not.
The Brotherhood 1 through 9 is better than this.
Yep.
Definitely. The Brotherhood's trying to say something. It's also failing.
Yes.
But it is trying.
Better or worse than the ill-considered Legion series at 831?
It's worse than that Legion series.
Yeah, I think it is too.
It's also worse than X-Men The End, Dreamers and Demons.
I would agree. I'm going to keep working my way down here. It's worse than Mojo Worldwide at 851, I think.
Yeah, why do we keep going to Mojo Worldwide right now?
Well, it's at 850, so I'm just working my way down here.
I think it's better than Wild Thing number 4.
Okay.
Is Wild Thing also Lethal Larry?
I don't remember.
Who's to say?
I don't remember. I'm going to say something insane. I think that Return of the Native is better than this. I think this should be our new 861.
I mean, I don't know how anyone could argue with that, Adam.
Yeah. I mean, at least Return of the Native has the Wolverine Origins helicopter scene in it, so let's give it
Return of the Native has some redeeming qualities.
Sure. I don't know
Venom Tooth and Claw is...
It's a mess.
You're never going to be as confused as you are reading a bad Larry Hama comic. In the same way, you're never going to be as overjoyed as you are to be reading a good Larry Hama comic. Yeah. And unfortunately, those are often the same comic at the same time.
It's true. He was really stretching his legs here.
Boy's still working.
I know. Gonna get back on that G.I. Joe train, right?
Is back on that G.I. Joe train. Amazing. I have been hearing other people recap his current G.I. Joe run. It sounds like a hoot and a holler.
Great. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Mr. Hama.
Sounds like he's been writing 300 plus issues of G.I. Joe and still doing it.
Stay lethal there, buddy. Woo. All right. We did it. We talked about Venom. That was interesting.
No more Venom episodes for a while. Until morale improves.
Until morale improves. Well, I thank ourselves, and a reminder to Patreon patrons to get their picks in. Go to patreon.com.
I think all 44 people that could have given us an episode and chose not to over the years.
Yes.
I have all of your names written down. I don't just like delete it and ignore it. There's a list. Adam, you can scroll down. You can see the big list of names that just
hit us up.
Gave us free money. Love that for you.
Thank you.
Love that. I don't know if our audience loves that for you, because then they have to deal with our picks.
Come on, we're funny. We're having a good time here.
All I'm saying is our listenership has not significantly declined since we stopped caring so much.
We still care. Stop it.
We care in very different ways.
Yes.
We care about having fun with each other and having a good time, and not if we're going to be a successful podcasting enterprise that will allow us to not work anymore.
No, never thought that was the case. Folks,
I never thought that was the case. I thought there was a minute when we could maybe like make a bit more money.
Oh.
But the money that we get from our current patrons
is more than enough. We're happy people.
I wouldn't say more than enough.
It's enough.
I would say it fills my heart that people want to listen to this. It doesn't fill my wallet necessarily.
It's okay.
But it could.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the person to fill my wallet or Adam's wallet, it fills Adam's wallet more because he edits this thing.
Patreon.com/Battle of the Atom.
/Battle of the Atom. Adam, what do you got going on? Anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. Just follow me on socials, Adam Recco on Blue Sky and Instagram, and Arthur Stacy on Twitter. And Zack, I don't think we know what we're doing next week, but we're figuring it out.
We'll figure it out.
More surprises in store, folks.
That one is a Patreon thing. It's just like the guy has to get back to us, but he always gets back to us.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
We're confident.
We're good. I believe in our next one. Or else we'll go down the list and the list doesn't get any better. The list of things that we decided as bits for ourselves to write down doesn't get any better. Till then, folks, this has been Battle of the Atom. We hope you survived the experience.
Get it!